So picture this. You're going on a date. You have a date planned out. And so you're driving to your date. You hit traffic. There's a lot of cars in your way. And traffic is not moving. You can't get through. And then you start to gain these thoughts. You're angry, you're mad because you think that you're gonna miss your date because of the traffic, right? And then somebody just cuts you off. You get really angry, and then you just curse off this person. Start yelling at him, just start cursing him off, right? And so eventually you make it to your date. Your date left. She's not there anymore. And then you're upset because of the traffic. You know, the people just cutting you off. You kind of have to tell to yourself that that's the reason why you missed your date, right? And then a couple weeks later, you have another date, right? And yet you're still running a little bit late because of the traffic. Now, here's what happens. Pay attention here. You don't even need to think. Like, the thoughts doesn't need to occur. Immediately, your body starts to react. You start to get angry, blood pressure rises, you start to get hot. You just start cursing off, just yelling at people. The thing that's happening here, right, is our belief, which I'm gonna show you here in just a moment. Our belief about things, about life. Beliefs are things that we believe to be true about the world, right? That's what beliefs are. And then out of our belief flows our thought. And so let me give an example. Let me take this chair over here, right? So I have a belief that this chair standing over here, if I sit there, is gonna hold me still, right? That's the belief that I have about this chair. If I sit on this chair, the belief about that chair is that it's gonna support me and I'm gonna be able to stand firmly as I'm standing right now. That's belief, right? So out of that belief, right? And then I have a thought, like, I can sit on this chair, that's the thought. And then comes the action, which actually me sitting on the chair, right? Because we believe that this chair is gonna support us. That's the belief that we have about this chair, right? And so beliefs, thoughts, and then out of our thoughts flows our action. This is such an important concept and thing to understand, right? So I have another story that I'm gonna tell you. Pay attention real quick. So imagine, you have a meeting with your VP every day at 10 a.m. But then you realize that every time you're in a meeting with your VP, with your CEO, you get angry. There's confrontation that happens. And then your body is kicked into the flight or fight mode response, right? To where you start to get really sweaty. Your blood starts pumping. Your heart starts pumping really, really fast. You're in the fight or flight mode. Your body's like, should I fight? Should I react? Or should I fall back, right? This happens to you 10 a.m. every day when you have a meeting with your VP or with your executive, right? And so now what happens is the following, is that every day now, around 9:30 a.m., you don't even need to think about what's gonna happen, because you don't need to think about, okay, I'm gonna have a confrontation with my VP or with my CEO. What happens is at 9:30 a.m., your body is kicked into the fight or fight mode, right? This is something called a loop, right? Now, because out of our beliefs, typically there's a thought, right? Beliefs, thought, and action. What happens is there's a loop to where the thought is skipped and then you just immediately react. Beliefs, the thought is skipped and then boom, it just comes to action. That happens. As the example that I just gave you, 9:30 a.m., you don't need to think about it, but your body just, for whatever reason, you're like, why am I so anxious? Why am I so hot? Why am I sweating, right? And a lot of people don't think about this. It's because of the previous experience that has happened. At 10 a.m., your body already knows that it's gonna get into a confrontation. It's gonna be kicked into the fight or fight mode. So at 9:30 a.m., your body is already into that mode and just trying to prepare you for what is to come. If you're then trying to change your belief about something, right, you have to go back to the point of time in which you first thought or where you first had an experience, right? Remember the one that I gave you about the date, right? That first date that you had, right? You have to go back in that point in time when that happened if you want to change your action, right? So you go back to that. Okay, so I know that I was going to a date, right? And then because of the traffic, it caused me to be late to the date. And so now every time I'm in traffic or maybe I'm heading somewhere, I don't need to think, but my body just reacts. I get nervous. Like my body starts like getting really hot. My heart starts pumping really fast, and Sometimes I don't even know why, but like you have to think about when did this first happen, and you have to go back and change your belief about that specific environment, right? And so now is that in traffic, you go back with cool. I can't blame the traffic for me being late on the date. The reason that I'm late to the date was because I went late, right? I could have planned ahead and maybe left maybe like 30 minutes earlier to go on the date, right? Guys, it's important that we pay attention to this, right? Go back to the point of time in which you first had that belief. If you want to change the action. The first time that I went on a date, I blamed the traffic for being late. Every time that I see traffic, I don't need to think, my body starts to react. Like I start to get, my palms start sweating, I start to just yell and just curse off people on the road without even knowing why, right? But now that we know why, we have to go back to that point in time and change that. The traffic is not the cause of the reason that I was on a date. We have to really change that belief. It's something that takes time. Like you really have to go sit down and think about it. Boom, guys. I hope this video was valuable to you. If it was, if you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comment below. If you made it this far in the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more where this came from. I promise you, there's a lot more where this came from. I share psychological things about life that will help you propel and just change your overall life situations. Make sure to hit that follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.